So now that you guys are writing functions, this is probably a good point to introduce a nice debugging tool that CodeSkulptor has. And to illustrate it, I'm going to use this this program that shows how scope works with functions. And actually, the way it runs right now, it works just fine. But notice there's this comment here at the bottom. If I uncomment the next line, the program will crash. So I'm going to uncomment it and refresh, and let's see if we can make it crash. Oop, yeah. It says right here, name error, name var inside is not defined. So actually this error message itself might be enough for you to recognize what's going on. It says var inside is not defined, but might or might not be clear, depending on your experience with scoping issues. So let me just show you how you can. I'm going to highlight all this code, and I'm using Control-C because I'm on a PC. It might be Command-C on a Mac. And I'm going to copy it into this other environment that looks just like CodeSkulptor, except notice it's got this little wrench here. It's got the same, startup code. It's got this little wrench, and I'm gonna paste Control-V, paste the scope code into here, and there's a link. So this is codeskulptor.org/viz, V-I-Z, and then /index.html. So you could just say viz/ and you would see it. So I'm gonna click on this wrench, and we'll try to step through this program, and you'll see over on this side the steps that we take. So if I just click on this guy, nothing's happening right now. So what I got to do first is run the whole program until it breaks. Okay, and now I can go and start back at the beginning, I think. Can I? Can I back up? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to go back. See, it says begin here. Oh, I can go back even further. Let's back up as far as we can. Okay. So now I've backed up to the first line where something's happening. Notice these are comments here, so there's no work to be done, but the first line where something's happening is where it says var outside equals, and then there's this string I was created outside the function. So let's see what happens when we execute that string. Okay, here it says we created a global variable called var outside, and this is the value in that variable. I was created outside the function. So let's take another step here. Okay, so now we're on this line. Oh, and we actually print it out. So the output gets printed out up here. It says outside the function, var outside is, so it went ahead and printed out the value. So let's see what happens now. Now the line that we're about to execute is def, the function, so defining this function. So let's see what happens. Okay, so now what happened was we created another global variable called the function. Okay, so the first global variable we created was just this regular variable here that we created by giving a variable name and then equals and setting it to some value. Here we created a variable by defining a function. And notice, instead of some value in here, there's this little dot and an arrow, and it points to a function. Okay, and that function, let's see, how come I can't get to the, oh, there it is. So that function is our function called the function. Okay, does that make sense? So let's go back over here now. Let's see what the next thing is that we do. Well, the next thing we do is, because we at this point we're calling it directly, right? So when we call it, that tells us jump back here and do the steps inside, the steps that are defined for that function. So now I'm actually, now I'm inside this method, this function called the function, and I'm actually stepping through there. So let's see what happens. So now I step again, and now look, we have this variable var inside, but notice it occurs inside the function. It's not a global variable, it's a local variable because it was created inside the function. Okay, so let's take another step. That works fine, inside the function, inside the function. And now it's a little bit clearer. Now it says return none, okay, because we're not returning any value from our function. We don't have a return statement, so by default we return none. And now I take one more step, and look, that var inside went away because we've completed the function, we've exited the function, so any variables that were created inside that function are gone now. So our global variable var outside is still around. That's fine. But now when we go to try to print var inside, look, it doesn't exist anymore. So if we try to do that, that's when we get our error. Okay? So let's see if I can make that show up. Yeah, so then our error came up. Okay, so this is a really handy tool for debugging your programs.